Welcome to today's class. I hope you're good. In our third topic, we are going to look at the entrepreneurial opportunities and development. And in this topic, we are going to define the term a business opportunity. We'll also look at the methods of generating business opportunity. We'll also look at the qualities of a good business opportunity. Methods of evaluating the business opportunity. And also we'll finally look at the feasibility study. This is a topic which is mostly tested in an examination setup. And I hope we'll be referring to our past papers and also if anything that has ever been tested before. We will start by defining the term business opportunity. Business opportunity. And in our definition, we'll say that business opportunity is a viable business potential to create something new by engaging new technologies in the industry. Business opportunity is a viable business potential to create something new by engaging new technologies. Now that we know the definition of the term business opportunity, we will look at the methods of generating business opportunity. Business ideas. We have various methods in which we can use to generate business ideas. And in this topic, I'm going to cover around 6 or 7. If you look, this question was tested in May 2016. Question number 1C, you are asked to state, was it 5 methods of generating business ideas? You can refer to our past paper. And we'll start with brainstorming. Also, in the use of focus groups. Cordon method. Checklist method. We'll also look at the reverse brainstorming. And finally, big dream approach. In our previous class, we covered various methods which we were using to generate. We had covered some of these on like the brainstorming, the focus group, the cordon method, the checklist, the reverse brainstorming, and the big dream approach. I'm just going to give a brief explanation, but I'll major on brainstorming because I've seen so many questions are coming from brainstorming. So when in our previous class, we said that with brainstorming, this is a method of generating ideas from a group of people. When you talk of brainstorming, this is whereby people are freely allowed to give in ideas, and you, as a business owner, you can get as many ideas as you can, then you later choose the best among all the ideas. When we talk about the focus group, it's more of the same as the brainstorming, but with here you have a structured number of people, let's say between 10 to 20 people who have come together to bring in, to generate some of the ideas. From the ideas which they've generated, you can pick the one which is most suitable to the opportunity or the idea which you have in mind. When you talk about the cordon method, the cordon method, I've said this is the method of developing new ideas when the individuals are usually unaware of the problem. In this method, the entrepreneur starts by mentioning a general concept which is associated with the problem. Then now the group will respond, but with expressing a number of ideas. Remember also in our previous class, we looked at the checklist method. And this is why I say that it is the new idea, developing a new idea through a list of related issues. You are generating idea through a collection of related issues. When we talked about the brainstorming, we say this is the opposite, the reverse brainstorming, sorry. I said this is the opposite of brainstorming. And also when you talk about the big dream, I remember I said that you are developing a new idea by thinking about constraints. You are developing an idea by thinking about the constraints. I've said that I'm going to major on the brainstorming. And when it comes to brainstorming, I want us to look at the ways in which brainstorming can be made ways in which brainstorming can be made more effective. This question was tested in May 2016, May 2016, question number 1C, May 2016, question number 1C. You are asked to state ways or methods in which you can make brainstorming more effective. The first one is that, the first way is that don't limit the ideas. When I say that you don't limit ideas, this is whereby you allow everyone to think freely and come up with as many ideas as they can. The second one is that you build more. You build more. When I say that you build more, this is by encouraging an environment which is free from judgment, and it allows everyone to speak their mind and let ideas flow in inhibited manner. The third one is that it's about the quantity. When I talk about the quantity, this is whereby you allow people to generate as many ideas as they can. From the many ideas which you might have gotten, you can choose the best which will suit your need. Another one is about you try visual brainstorming. Try visual brainstorming. When I say that you try visual brainstorming, this is apart from just speaking. You can also use the drawing, do the writing, and sketching, and many more, which will make your ideas memorable. Another one is you stay focused. Stay focused on the topic. When I say that you stay focused on the topic, this is whereby in as much as you will be generating as many ideas as they can, with here ensure that you stick to the relevant of the topic. We have a specific reason, or you have a specific topic which you will be discussing, such that even if they'll be generating the ideas, you will still be sticking to the reason why you actually started the brainstorming. Another one is to assign the moderator. And I say that you assign the moderator. This is whereby you assign someone to be in charge of the brainstorming session. This is to make the brainstorming have a productive direction. So some of the ways in which you can make your brainstorming more effective. There was also a question which was asking conditions that should prevail. Conditions, or sometimes you can be asked to state the rules, which it means the same. So it is conditions or the rules that should prevail to ensure successful brainstorming. This question was tested twice, in November 2019, question number 2B, and also in May 2018, question number 4A. These are the conditions. Sometimes you'll be asked to state the rules, of which it means the same thing. The answers are the same. The first one is to assemble a diverse team. When I talk of assembling a diverse team, this is whereby it takes multiple perspectives and collaborative teams to come up with ideas or solutions that are usually unique and innovative. Another way of making it to be successful is that to do homework, do your homework. When I say that you do your homework, this is whereby you only get better. Brainstorming usually gets better when you prepare before the starting of the brainstorming. If you prepare before, it means that you will have more ideas and even you can contribute more. Another one is set a time limit. And quantity goal. When I say that you set a time limit, this is whereby you're giving your team a goal and a set, and you also set amount of, you give your team a goal of a set amount of ideas in a specific time limit. Another one is create a fun environment. Say that you create a fun environment. This is whereby you are creating an atmosphere which is non-judgmental and also it is informal. This is whereby it will encourage people to just speak out their minds as long as they are still sticking to the goal. Another one is to record every contribution. Record every contribution. This is whereby you are recording with either an audio or a video recorder, or by taking notes of every contribution and even drawing images to help you visualize the different ideas. The documentation will always allow to squeeze every last drop of creativity from each session. Finally, you stimulate thinking. This is whereby you question all the assumptions and traditional thinking, because it is what keeps the flow of creativity going. Now, let us look at our second subtopic, which is the third subtopic, sorry, which is the qualities of a good business opportunity. Qualities of a good business opportunity, and you will refer to May of 2017, question number 1C. Remember that for any good idea or for any good business idea, it should always add value to the user. This is whereby you are converting an idea into value, requires creativity and also innovation. So we are going to look at the characteristics or what are some of the qualities which you need to consider before you venture into or before you even think of any business opportunity. So the first quality of a good business idea is about the legality. In that the business opportunity should be capable of operating within the rules and regulations of its domicile. When we talk about the domicile, this is whenever you are starting any business idea or whenever you are thinking of any business opportunity, you have to ensure that it is acceptable in that country. You don't contravene the laws and regulations of that country. The second idea is, the second qualities of a good business idea is about uniqueness. Uniqueness of the business. This is whereby it should stand out in the industry and market to capture the attention of all the stakeholders. Remember that you will be in an environment whereby we have other competitors in the field. So it means that if you're going to start a business, that business, yes, that business might be something which is already in the market, but still it doesn't mean that it is flooded. You can still come in and you differentiate your goods to be unique from the competitors. Another one is about the competitiveness. Competitiveness. When we talk of competitiveness, a good business idea should be able to stand the competitions in the market. When you talk about the competition, this is whereby you can differentiate your product to look different from what the other competitors are offering. Another one is about social acceptability. When I talk of social acceptability, this one, it should be acceptable not only legally, but also within the social norms and practices of the society. Remember that you as a business person, that business will be operating in a society. So whatever you'll be coming up with should be acceptable in that society. Another one is about growth potential. This is whereby when you talk about the growth potential, it should show dynamism by having growth potential to guarantee the business in increase in customer base operation, the market shares, and eventually in terms of profitability. We can also talk about the operational feasibility. This one, it should be compatible with its reinforcing infrastructure. Some of the, and also talk about the protectability. Protectability. It should provide the owners with the capability to own the intellectual property of the products or services in existence. So some of the qualities of a good business opportunity. We'll now look at subtopic, which is evaluating the business opportunity. When you talk about when you are evaluating a business opportunity, the first thing as an entrepreneur, you need to do something which we call cost-benefit analysis. When we talk about cost-benefit analysis, this is whereby the benefit should always outweigh the cost, because the intention of us starting a business at the end of the day is to make the profit. So if you're going to choose, when you are thinking of any business idea, you shall have to evaluate something which we call the cost benefit analysis. And this is whereby the benefits should always outweigh the costs. And then what are the factors which you will consider when you are evaluating the business of opportunity? The factor number one is about the potential growth. And when I've talked in this other one, when we were looking of qualities of a good business idea, I said when we talk about the potential growth, this is whereby you have to choose a business opportunity which has the ability to grow and expand. When we talk about the growth in terms of the customer base, customer base, the market share, and eventuality, when it comes to an eventuality, it gives you some profit. Another factor to consider is about the infrastructure. When you talk about the infrastructure, this is usually the access to such infrastructure, such as the roads, the water, the electricity, the telephone, the internet, the postal services, among others. And this is whereby it is good to evaluate such kind of things because we need to consider something which we are calling the operating expenses. Another factor is about the market for the goods. Market for the goods and services. With here, as an entrepreneur, what you need to do is to access the potential and actual market for the goods and services that you would like to sell. When we talk about the market, that market should always be ready. It should be readily available, or you clearly define the market if the opportunity is to be considered. Another factor to consider is about the pricing structure. With here, remember that we have various types of prices. We have various methods of coming up with the price of a product. There are some who will use the cost plus method, some will use the marginal pricing structure, and among others. But when you are when you are considering the prices, remember that there are some factors which usually affect the prices, such as, for example, when it comes to inflation, the inflation can change the price of a product. So when you are coming up with a price structure, you come up with something which, in case there are some factors such as interest rates and inflation, it can easily be adjusted to accommodate the changes. Another one is about the competition and competitive advantage. When we were discussing in regards to qualities of a good business idea, we say that one of the things which you need to consider is about the competition. This is whereby, remember that when you will be getting into the market, there are some other business holders, or there are some other entrepreneurs who might be doing the same kind of a business. So remember, before you get into any kind of a business, you also consider if there is any healthy competition. Also consider the legal considerations. This is whereby you reconsider if that product is acceptable, or if that product can be, if you can trade within the acceptable rules and regulations. Remember, each country usually has its own rules and regulations. So before you choose a business opportunity, you have to ensure that it is acceptable within that country. Another one is about financial viability. When you talk about the financial viability, remember that for you to run the business, you need the finances. So with here, you'll have to look at the capital investment requirements, the break-even analysis, the cash flow projections, the profitability of the business. You need to do the analysis before you get into that business. Another, the final one is about the personnel, training and management. Remember that the moment you start up that business, you will need people who will be working for you. So before you start the business, the first thing which has to come into your mind are who will be working for you, what type of personnel will you need? Are they skilled personnel or unskilled personnel? If it is about the skilled personnel, you need to come up with the methods of, you need to come up with the structure of recruitment, and also you train them and how you're going to manage them. So some of the factors which you need to consider when you are evaluating the business opportunity. Yeah. Now let us look at something which we call feasibility studies. Sorry, feasibility analysis. There we are going to define the term feasibility analysis, and we'll refine it as it refers conducting detailed analysis in relation to every aspect relevant to business, and also determining the credibility of the business, I've said it refers to conducting detailed analysis in relation to every aspect relevant to business and determining credibility of the business. Since we know the definition of the term feasibility, we'll now look at the components. Or sometime you can be asked to state the steps of a feasibility study. This question was tested in November of 2015, question number 2B. Said you can be asked to state the components or the steps of a feasibility study. The first step or the first component is about the description of the business. When you talk about the description of the business, these are the product or services to be offered and how they will be delivered. So that is the first step, or the first component is to do the description of the business. The second one is to do something which we call market feasibility. When you talk of the market feasibility, there you will include the description of the industry. That is, are you in a service industry or you are in a whatever industry which business falls into, you'll do the description. The current market, where are you currently servicing or where are you currently supplying your product? Another one is the anticipated future market. This is where are you planning to penetrate or where are you planning to take your products in the future? And also, you'll also have to state the competition, the sales, among others, in the market feasibility. Sales projections, among others. Sorry. Yes, that is the second step. The third step is about the technical feasibility. And in this one, you will detail, this one usually details how the product will be delivered. That is in terms of all the transportation, the labor, where the business will be located, the technology which will be needed, among others. Another one also is about the financial feasibility. And this one is that you will have to indicate the projections, how startup capital is needed. How much will you need to start up the business? What will be your sources of capital? How are you going to finance the business? Is it through loans, or you are going to use your savings, or are you going to sell some of the assets, or are you going to get them from the family, or are you going to issue the shares, among others? And finally, the returns on investment. But you'll also look at the organizational visibility. With there, you will be defining the legal and corporate structure. Remember that we have various types of organizational structure. We have the matrix, the functional, among others. So you'll have to choose the type of a corporate structure of the business. Also, remember that we have the owners of the business. We have the owners of the business. So in terms of the owners of the business, you may include their professional background and information about the founders and what skills do they have and how are they going to contribute to the business, among others. Also, the final step is to do the conclusions. This one here, you will mainly be discussing how the business will succeed. We'll be discussing how the business will succeed. Yes. What is the steps or the process of the components or the steps of conducting a feasibility study? Now that we are done with the feasibility study, we look at the business incubation. Business incubation. Wacha tumalize. In our next class, we will look at the business incubation, and I would wish to stop here for today. And this is an area which is mostly tested. The reason why I want us to start it from our next class, as we will be looking at the definition of incubation, the types of incubators, the services provided by the incubators, the factors to consider before you choose a business incubator, among others. It is a wide topic, so I would wish us to start from there in our next class.